Greg Garbos of Four Season Tools. We're here on North Haven Island off the coast of Maine. We're going to talk about now is wind and high tunnels. The last 3 years we've had these 3 30 by 48 movable buildings on the property. In December we put up another movable hoop coop, and we're here now putting up our 5th and 6th structures. This is a great example of trying to test how these movable buildings handle wind. They've been here for 3 years. We have had almost no issues whatsoever, which is great news. Today it's gusting so much we can't even work and put the next frame up on the building, so we're taking a moment to talk about wind and high tunnels. Behind me, these 3 movable high tunnels are really doing great. The 2 to the right are single layers of plastic, and the other one, the plant house, is double layers of plastic. The double layer of plastic really does help when you're talking about wind and snow load, because it gives a little bit of absorption and a buffer when that wind is hitting it. What we're going to do is we're going to go inside the structures, and we're going to talk about the bracing and anchoring to make sure that you're keeping your movable structures even if you have a lot of wind. Behind me we've got 2 30 by 48 movable high tunnels. Again, it's really gusting. You can see the wood. It's almost ripping the remay off the ground. What we have to my right is a movable tunnel with a single layer of plastic. Over there on my far right, that's got 2 layers of plastic. That double covering really helps absorb some of the brunt of wind and snow loads. Again, it's really gusting today, but it's a great example of how well these structures do in the wind. We're now going to go inside of this 30 by 48 plant house to see how little the structure is moving in the wind. Behind me you'll notice that we've got a job site where we're putting up 2 more 30 by 48 movable buildings. This has been such a success for this farm and their ability to produce year-round that they're expanding and putting their 5th and 6th structures up. But if we go inside this building, you can see what a difference it is being outside versus inside one of these structures in the wind. This is a 30 by 48 plant house. It's a heated building. It is a movable structure, but they're deciding to keep it stationary because they want to use it as a plant house, and they put a heater in. They've got lots of different things growing in here, including microgreens and some edible flowers and a lot of stuff for the local restaurants and farmers market. In this building, we've got a couple of different bracing things going on. We've got a full truss kit, which helps support the building along the width of the structure. And there's also sidewall corner braces and end wall corner braces that help the structure along the length of the building. There's also additional bracing in this because it is a movable structure. When you're talking about having a movable building and severe winds and snow loads, it's really important to consider both the bracing and the anchoring. Obviously, the more bracing you put in the structure, the better. As far as anchoring concerned, this is a movable structure, so it has interior anchors and exterior anchors that are helping hold that building down. Some people want to provide their own anchoring system. I definitely don't advise that. We have anchoring systems that are specifically designed for our buildings. In fact, our V-track system actually integrates our moving and our anchoring system. We anchor our track down to the ground, and then we anchor our building to the track. So this is a great example of a building that's been up for several years in a very high wind environment because of the quality of materials and design that we have. It's been a great success for them. What we're going to do now is go over to another building on the property, which is a movable hoop coop, and show you how well that's doing even though we're getting this kind of wind. Now we're on a different part of the property. We've got a movable hoop coop that they use for part of the year for goats, so they help overwinter their cows inside the structure. This building we put up in December. One of the things you want to do is when you skin your building, ideally you want to skin your building on a warm day. When it gets cold, right, your plastic is going to shrink, right? So the warmer it is when you put on your plastic, the tighter it's going to be through the winter. This plastic right here, you can see it flapping a lot more in the wind. It's a single layer of plastic. We put it on in December. Now that it's a lot warmer out, you can see that it's flapping around a lot. Right now we got a couple goats right here. We're going to go inside the structure and I'll show you how well it's doing in the wind. You can see right here that we've got a pipe skid building. It's anchored down on the corners with T-posts. And we've also got a lot of exterior anchors with some of those twisty-in earth augers. There's also twisty-in earth augers on the inside. So we've got some additional anchoring on the inside. What they've done with this building is, depending on what type of animals are inside the building, they use different types of paneling to try to keep the animals away from the structure. But if you look at the structure itself, you'll see that the plastic is flapping a lot, but the bracing inside of the building is barely moving. So again, even though we're getting really severe gusts in this windstorm, the building itself is barely moving at all. This has a truss kit inside the building. It's also got sidewall corner braces and roof corner braces. It also has some additional bracing for a movable building. So you notice that there's cables that run through the building to keep the building square. And there's also some ridge braces that sawtooth through the inside of the structure. This building has done a really great job taking the wind, and we're really happy with it. Talking about some additional sidewall corner braces, if you look on that far side, you'll notice that there's actually 3 sidewall corner braces. On our skid buildings, we put in an extra sidewall corner brace on the bottom because there's so much force when you're pulling the building. Although those braces work great for moving the building, they also really do an excellent job in high wind situations or in big snow loads, because that bracing, even though it's there for moving the building, also does a great job when you're getting this kind of wind pressure. So overall, we're incredibly happy with all the buildings we have on this property. It's been really fun to be out here doing a build and get some really severe wind, going out looking at the buildings and realizing that they're barely moving at all. Again, it's really important to put a lot of bracing inside those buildings and properly anchor them, because once you put all that investment into the building, you want to make sure that you can keep that investment for a long time.